Hey, welcome back to the First Generation Millionaires podcast. I am your host, Rebecca Barr, and I am so excited to share with you this episode. So, in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about redefining what wealth looks like for our generation. Now, when I started as a business owner almost 10 years ago now, I came up very much in the boss babe era, where it was all about hustle while they sleep, grind, be the hardest working person in the room. And it really led to a period of almost rejection of those around me because I felt really entitled and really resentful towards the work that I was doing and that the results weren't showing up for me. So therefore, it was like, well, kind of F you to everybody else. You don't want it as much as I do. You don't understand the sacrifices that I'm making for my success. I am, being the hardest part, like working person in the room. But what I realized over now 10 years is that actually a lot of that was unnecessary. A lot of that was looking for validation because I was learning. I was in a period of growth. I literally had to hit the ground running in my business and learn as I went. And because of that, it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of wasted hours, a lot of time. I wasn't investing in mentorship. So therefore, I was feeling that sense of resentment because I wasn't getting the results from the work that I was doing. Everybody was saying, people like Gary Vee, if you just create content every single day, the money will come. And it's like, well, I'm creating content every single day. The money is not coming. So what the hell am I doing wrong? And I didn't know what I didn't know. So therefore I was getting resentful. I was getting burnt out. I was having these stop-start periods where it was like, I just can't do it anymore. What's the point? And then I would go around in these toxic cycles. And then I would learn something online. I'd be like, oh, it's a funnel. I need a funnel. That's what I didn't do. Okay, I'll go back and build a funnel. And then it's like, oh, okay, I haven't got an audience to show this funnel to. They didn't tell me that part in the training. So now I need to invest over here. And then I was getting resentful towards like the learning and development industry, the personal development industry. Because I was like, everybody keeps saying if I want it hard enough, if I think positively enough, if I invest in this program and this course and this mentor, the money will come. And actually, a lot of the time, yes, it came, but did it? And then it would go. And that's just actually a lot of what happened was a true reflection of the entrepreneurial journey. It's about learning your craft. It's about finding your self belief and confidence that needs to go alongside that training. Strategy alone will not get you to your next level. Nobody spoke about that. And it was just my journey. And actually, that time where things weren't working out, and I'm like, I'm doing all the things. Like, what am I missing? Actually is where I built my resilience, where I built my creativity, where I learned my tenacity, where I learned to surrender, where I learned that actually there are seasons and ebbs and flows, and not everything in entrepreneurship is just a continual like growth incline. Sometimes you have to have those periods of rest and retreat because actually you have to pivot and you have to evolve and you have to grow and expand. And it's hard to do that when things are working because you're just kind of continuing to do the same things that you're already doing. So actually what I thought looked like failure was just growth and evolution and depth. That's the thing now. I think for me as an entrepreneur at this stage, I'm bulletproof. Genuinely, I'm bulletproof. I've been through COVID. I've been through economic downturns. I've been through business failures. I've been through near bankruptcies. I've been through people wanting to sue me. I have been through shady people trying, taking my clients. I've been through mean things said about me online. I have been through it all and I'm okay. I'm okay. Like, I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm fulfilled both in my business but also outside of my business. Like, I have such a beautiful life and I don't think enough people talk about that. And that is the real kind of wealth, I think, for our generation, is knowing that not everything's going to be an overnight success. Not everything you turn up on YouTube and you get 1 billion subscribers. I'm still growing my YouTube channel now, almost 3 years after starting it. Again, it's not just a numbers game. It's like learning your craft. It's learning the hooks. It's learning another system, another platform. It's so much more, and I have not given it, hand on heart, the time and energy that it needs to grow it, but I will. So if you're listening to this and you love a bit of YouTube, come and watch me over there, because then you'll be able to watch this episode rather than listen. So, but equally, I accept it's time. It's commitment to mastery. In that time, I've also been learning to commit to mastery of my modalities and my own self confidence as a coach, as a mentor. And you can't do all the things, right? You can do a lot of things, but you can't do everything well. And if I had to choose, for me, it's about learning mastery to my craft and my skill set as a coach and my ability to lead and transform, because I know the revenue's in the results. So therefore, if my clients get more breakthroughs, more results, more wins, more shifts, more ahas, I'm going to make money anyway. Not only karmically, because it's all adding up in your favor, but because physically the revenue is in the results, and people will far prefer, say, social proof and client testimonials over a carefully created sales page anyway. So it's all adding up in my favor, so don't worry. But again, in that lesson, in that period, what I really learned through was about discernment of the people that I wanted to invest in. So I invest, and I've talked about this a lot, where I invested like 5 figures into a coach and a mentor, and within the first 3 weeks of working with him, I was like, yeah, this is not my person, because what he's asking me to do is not sustainable. What he's asking me to do is burn through my audience, burn through my clients, burn through my email list, burn through myself and my creativity to create something and get the money now. Get it all in now. Get that 100K cash month. Get that 100K launch, when actually a lot of, like, it's not sustainable. I can't possibly, as a woman, as a mother, be on in my socials 20 times a day, which was basically what he was asking me to do. Like, send 10 DMs in the morning, 10 at lunchtime, 10 in the evening. That's not sustainable for me. Especially not with children, especially not personally as a person with ADHD and a manifesting generator. I cannot continue to do the same thing day in, day out. And I know me. So I'm not going to lean into that strategy, because even if I created a win now, I couldn't replicate that success. What I am looking for in a mentor is somebody who can help me to create success today, tomorrow, next week, next year, with the next evolution of me, with my next level up of programs, with my next iteration of service. I want a mentor that has longevity, that can see me through the seasons. And that was not him. So we parted ways very quickly because it just wasn't success. And I think that that is going to be something that more and more people are craving, that longevity in their business. And I've definitely experienced or witnessed burnout from a lot of my peers and contemporaries who are like all in, trailblazers, iconic, like following that hustle culture, who are then 2 years later, or a year later, or 6 months later, or 3 months later, saying to me offline, I hate my business. I hate my clients. I don't know how I'm going to carry on doing this. It doesn't feel sustainable. I've now invested so heavily that I don't have a choice. I have to keep going. I'm committed up to the hills because I believe this growth would continue, forgetting that as people and spiritual beings, we are meant to be cyclical. We're not meant to keep going and going and going and going. We are not robots. So they have essentially built themselves a cage that they can't get out of. And if you recognize that for yourself right now, actually all the methods that you're being told to be showing up constantly, posting 4 times a day in the DMs, is not actually sustainable, then for me that is not true success. And I have had to be so discerning, because a lot of the big players in the online marketing space and coaching space, when they talk about success, I've really looked at them as a person and thought, do I want what you have? And no, there isn't. There has been very few people. I have one mentor that I reached out to and I always go back to, and I say to her, like, you are the only person that actually has a life that I want. And part of that I can't replicate because of her family dynamics. I can never create what she has because I have ex-partners that I have to be sympathetic to. I have children who don't want to live a digital nomad lifestyle. I have children that don't want to be homeschooled as much as I homeschool 2 of them. I've got 2 others that are like, no, I want to be with my friends. I love that routine and structure. So therefore, I can never truly have what she has in her life because her family dynamics are different to mine. But everything else I'm so here for. She's a person of integrity. She's been here for a long time. She's had many evolutions and iterations of her business. And her team is very small because she values her time freedom more. So let's talk about wealth beyond money. What does that look like for you? Because for me, uh, again, last year was a very different season of business for me. What I thought I had in my, like, I'd set my goals, I'd set my plans at the beginning of the year that I was going to continue the momentum from the year before, that I was going to have more of the same. And actually, I became pregnant, wasn't on my bingo card. I became pregnant with baby number 6. I had the most horrendous pregnancy journey, and then terrible health following the pregnancy, for me and the baby. So all of the things that I thought I knew completely went out the window. Having said that, I was still featured in Goss magazine. I still traveled and went on incredible holidays with my kids. I still hosted a 80-person luxury in-person event, sold out. I still hosted the most fabulous in-person luxury beautiful retreat abroad in California. Like, I still had incredible highs last year, but all of the extra bits, all of the bells and whistles, all of the things that probably I could have had even more leverage this year, just had to fall by the wayside, because that would not have been success for me. That would have been burnout. That would have been exhaustion. That would have been having to invest in a team at a higher level. That just and why would I have been doing that? That would have been coming from a place of ego rather than soul. That would have been coming from a place of I need to, I should do, I can do, so therefore I must do. It wouldn't have been coming from a place of this is what feels right, this is what success looks like, because I would have had to be pushing through in those times when I was sick. I literally had 5 months maternity leave where I didn't even show up at the beginning for the most part of this year, because I didn't have the health, the energy, the clarity, the focus to do that. But fortunately, I'd built my recurring revenue that allowed me to do that. That felt like success, even when everybody else online is like, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. I was like, oh, girl, I'm knackered looking at you. Like, none of that seems okay or success to me right now. Having nervous system safety and being able to lean out and switch off and eliminate the noise and the distractions and the things that are not making me feel good felt like success. Having the self-confidence to gift myself that time and space to say no to a few things. The amount of things that I got asked to do last year that I just had to say no to, not only because physically, but also emotionally, spiritually, it just didn't make sense. And it just didn't feel like my time and my season. I would be going against what felt good at that moment, which was pretty much just listening to my body, giving my body what it needed, and unsubscribing from everything else that made me feel like that was the wrong thing to do. Actually downsizing my team and not investing in high level masterminds and mentorships last year is what I needed, because I didn't need to feel like I'm not doing the most, because physically I couldn't have done it even if I wanted to, and it would have been a waste of money. And I actually pulled out of a mastermind last year for that reason, because I didn't want to. Part of your growth is cultivating radical self-awareness and knowing where your triggers are, and part of that would have been being in an environment where everybody is like really going all in, and I'm not in that season. I know that I'm a manifesting generator. I respond to those around me. So therefore, I needed to be with those around me that were also in this gentle season of life. Now I've had the baby. Now I feel better. I am ready to get out there and claim what is mine and to take my business to the next level. But again, that comes from 10 years into the journey and being discerning and knowing that those once in a lifetime opportunities come around about twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year, that there are always more opportunities, more clients, and more visibility that can be had. You are never behind, and you can collapse time very quickly in business when you really set your mind to it. When you have that full body alignment and you eliminate the resistance towards achieving what it is that you want, you can get back that time very, very quickly. So again, what does wealth beyond money look like for you? Because I always liken it to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where we all have our basic needs for safety, where we have to pay our bills and we have to make sure that we've got enough money in to make sure that we are safe and we are okay. But what happens beyond that? And I've met a lot of unhappy people that are, 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs that are just chasing money for the sake of chasing money. like they've got to the good bit. They practically won the lottery, considering what, their perspective of the view of the world of what it would have looked like years ago. I mean, I make 10K months with ease. And if, for me, my corporate version of that would literally have felt like I'd won the lottery at this point. So for them, they're earning, a lot more 100K months. Are they happy? Are they fulfilled? Are they really fully grounded into where they are in this point of life, that they have basically got everything that they want? And yet, are they happy? No. Or are they still chasing the next goal? And I remember listening to Happy Sexy Millionaire by Stephen Bartlett, and he said that he got more satisfaction from finding, £10 down the back of the sofa when he was a struggling student, because that meant he had safety and he was going to be able to afford dinner that night, that when he sold his million pound business, or whatever, multi-million pound business, because at that point he didn't have anything else to strive towards. He had met his basic needs, but he hadn't tied his business in with any level of his psychological needs or self-fulfillment. There was no bigger purpose to that business. There was no bigger purpose to that money. It was just having more for the sake of more. It didn't fulfill him anymore. And he realized that something needed to change. And that is what these people are lacking, because they are just still very much chasing what comes next, the next milestone, the next income goal, but with no deeper purpose or why as to what that's going to represent, what that's going to mean to them, to society, to their family, to community, to the collective at large. There's no sense of self-fulfillment or highest potential being met by achieving more money. So therefore, they're just in this constant cycle of just treadmill, of just more for the sake of more. And then they become very unhappy inside. They go through periods of depression and needing to find that self-fulfillment and validation from other things that are external to them: a bigger house, a nicer car, a better holiday, drugs, alcohol, designer purchases, a bigger audience online, because they are not fundamentally met. Their needs are not met inside them. Part of this comes from, unfulfilled childhood needs, not being met in their childhood. So obviously I've got the next episode after this one. I've just completed a live series on Instagram that I'll be pulling together as an episode for you to listen to. So make sure you come back and listen to that one next week. But there's so much that they're putting outside of themselves because they aren't truly wealthy. They aren't truly happy. They aren't truly fulfilled. And no amount of money is going to fix that. More money does not equal happiness. It will not fix your problems. Unless you do this work first, unless you do that realignment first. So I'd love for you to kind of sit and think about that. When we are talking about redefining wealth for this generation, where you truly get to have it all, you can be a parent, and a present parent at that, and have time freedom, and have impact, and have legacy, and make an income, and do it in a way that serves you, in a way that actually fulfills your heart's desires. You don't have to sell any old crap on the internet. You don't have to go for the low-hanging fruit and the quick wins. You can truly have it all. What does that look like for you? Maybe, and for me, part of that was actually realizing that with my barbershop, the first brick and mortar businesses that I'd built my foundation on as an entrepreneur, that had given me financial success and this empowerment breakthrough, no longer was enough. I needed more than just paying my bills and being an entrepreneur and having success on paper. I needed to feel like I was truly making the world better. Needed to feel like I was healing people that would then heal the collective and make the world a better place. So I needed that to be my legacy. I needed to write a book to know that I had something that was going to stand the test of time when I am not here anymore. So what is that for you right now? And by the way, if you want to write a book, I have my Manifest Your Bestseller program to do that. I also have my Dream Life Workbook on Amazon if you don't yet know what success looks like for you. If you want some help around redefining what your dream life looks like, you only get one, right? I have tools and resources at your disposal to do this work. You don't have to just sit there and do it alone, even if your body tells you, your wounded masculine tells you that you do. These aren't big investments, and I would love for you to gift yourself that time and space to do it, even if you are too busy. You're telling yourself you're too busy, or you need to focus on the money right now and you can't have it all. Really challenge yourself to cultivate that radical self-awareness where you are blocking yourself from creating wealth and success on your own terms, where you are looking at too many people around you to tell you what that looks like, to tell you the answers. Because again, I've got more episodes coming about working in alignment with your human design, where the other day, I literally had a download, a moment of inspiration for my other business, the Wealthy Woman events and retreats. I decided to let it be easy, to just get the word out there that I needed speakers. I did it very scrappily, very quickly. I moved within my energy type and the strategies that work for manifesting generators, gave myself the freedom and space to just get it done, get it out there. And I literally received double the applications that I needed because I showed up with passion. I did the things that make the most sense for my alignment. It didn't even feel like work, so I was excited to share it. And I got the confirmation back in the results that I achieved. That is what creating success looks like for me as a person that was always told, that I've got ADHD, I am broken, I'm not strategic enough, I am not slow enough, I am not considered enough. It's like actually all of those things are what will ultimately create my success in the long run. But I also know that I don't want success, 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 success. I want to have those seasons and those ebbs and flows, and that's okay. So I would love for you, as a takeaway from today's episode, to really look at, what does sustainable success look like for you? What does wealth beyond money look like for you? And what does wealth on your own terms look like for you? What does your dream life look like? And if you need some help, please download the resources that I have created. It's all instant access if you feel inspired by this episode. And also make sure that you come back next week, where we'll be diving deeper into maybe some of the things that are keeping you from giving yourself permission to go all in on those things. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and you have an incredible rest of your week, because truly there has never been a better time to have it all, quote unquote. And